Hey everybody, Bearded Rogue here, and in this case I'm doing a extremely ambitious, for me, Vlogust video, wherein I want to do a top 10 list. Everybody loves top 10 lists. This one's a little bit different though, because this is top 10 artists who I would kill to have illustrate one of my games. As you know, I do not have anything currently published. But if I could choose the artist for my games, any of them, all of these people would be phenomenal choices in my opinion. I don't have them in any kind of particular order, which kind of defeats the purpose of a top 10 list. I just put 10 artists who I would kill to have illustrate one of my games on the list, and I'm going to go through them a little bit and discuss why I would want them to illustrate one of my games, and just kind of cover maybe some of their past work as to what inspired me to have them on the list in the first place. So the first person I have on the list is somebody who I actually don't own any of the games that he's illustrated as of yet, which is unfortunate for me. However, I do have some very amazing examples of his work, and this is Nolan Nasser. Nolan Nasser has done illustration for New Bedford, Groves, Fate of the Elder Gods, which is what this image is from. He is a truly amazing artist, an extremely amazing person, and he has a Kickstarter up running right now where you could get things like this, playmats, with his phenomenal artwork on it. He also did exoplanets. His artwork of solar systems and planets and galaxies is mind-blowingly good. And this particular image here, when I first saw it online as he was working on it, evoked all of my love of He-Man. This is a very Castle Grayskull type vibe to it. It's almost otherworldly. Like, his artwork has almost a spiritual light to it, whether it's dark like this piece or some of the more bright and hopeful pieces that he has. And it's just amazingly good. I actually got to meet him at Origins, and I purchased a couple of playmats and some various other things because I just love his artwork so much and wanted to decorate my house with more things that I love. So Nolan Nasser, number one. Number two, we're going to go to the amazing Beth Sobel. Now, Lanterns is a game that she did illustration on. She also is mind-blowingly famous for the amazing work that she did on Herbaceous, which unfortunately I don't own. She also did the artwork for The Last Garden for 1000 XP, which is just mind-shatteringly good. And then she has the best business cards I have ever received from anyone. Like, I would buy a deck of playing cards with these images. And these images right here, and images like them, are why Beth is on the list. Beth is amazing at capturing people. Her illustrations of human beings are, if anything, even more impressive than her illustrations of plant life and herbs and Chinese or the lantern festivals. She's amazing when it comes to drawing people. If you don't follow her on Twitter, I highly recommend it, because she posts these 1-hour studies, and she's just upping her game, working on her artwork, continuing to hone her craft, which is already amazing. But to see how much soul she captures in illustrations of people in just an hour's work from a reference image is amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. Every single one of them, you swear that they're going to get up and move, or that it's an actual photograph that you're looking at and not her digital painting rendition of it. if I ever have a game that features a lot of individuals, a lot of characters and people, I would kill to have her be one of the people or the person illustrating it, because she just captures not only an image but also a soul when she draws, or when she paints digitally, I believe is her medium. So that's Beth. So now we're going to go to number 3 on the list. Number 3 on the list is a little bit more whimsical. There's several games recently wherein he's kind of broken away from what I kind of view as his traditional style, and I'm very excited for that because he continues to level up as an artist, and that is Kwanchai Mariah. He did Kodama and all the adorable little tree spirits and the gorgeous artwork in Kodama. He also did Catacombs, the redesign that actually gave it art worth looking at. The kind of almost paper-crafty dungeon feel to the character artwork. Kwanchai's done a whole bunch of stuff. He's recently done Flip Ships and Capital Lux, both of which have much more realistic yet still stylized art styles. He's very adept at using color, and very adept at taking something and doing what I like to call creepy cute. Like, that's a giant spider, but that's a giant spider that doesn't make me want to run from the room screaming. You know, his ooze has skulls and stuff littered throughout it, and still at the same time isn't the creepiest thing you've ever seen. Like, something that's full of that much murder could be horrifying, and Kwanchai finds a way to make it cute, and almost cuddly, and that really works for me. Creepy cute as an aesthetic is something that I personally am really into, and so Kwanchai's games really speak to me in that regard. Next, number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the list. I really should have numbered these ahead of time. That would have made my life a lot easier. Number 4 on the list is the amazing... Let me make sure I can find all of the pieces of her work that are nearby. I just have piles and piles of game examples here. Is Jackie Davis, the illustrator for Sherlock Holmes, among other things. Jackie's style is almost Disney-esque. Like, I mean, this looks like it's, you know, right out of The Rescuers. But I first saw her on Fidelitas. And Fidelitas was a very small game that I discovered because Philip Dubarry, who was a local designer to me, had done it with Jason Kotarski, who did Great Heartland Hauling Company as the first Green Couch Games release, and they chose this artwork that looks like Disney animation cells. Like, it looks like something out of Aladdin, or The Little Mermaid, or some of the older Disney movies. All of the characters on the cards could just walk right out of Beauty and the Beast. And she does more painterly stuff as well. She did the cover for Stockpile, which is a more cartoony type style, but still has a little bit of that Disney aesthetic to it. I love her artwork. She's masterful at that kind of Disney-esque style, wherein it's very clear what everything is. It's very, lots of depth to her work. It's not just what's sitting in the foreground, but also what's, you know, behind the images. Even the images like Fidelitas, where it's just a character in front of a coat of arms. Like, they stand out, as very clearly distinct. And anything like Sherlock Holmes is a whole other level. Like the animals in a police lineup, with the height charts and everything behind them, just unbelievably good. Can't describe her stuff enough. Because of the way this pile is stacked, I'm going to go out of order now, which is probably going to screw up my numbering, so I apologize. But Jackie was number 4. I am now going to go to number 5, which we are going to say is John Ariosa. John Ariosa does fantasy art like nobody else. It's dark. It's very... I don't want to say gritty, but there is an aspect of grit to it. His art in Mice and Mystics is just unbelievable. Like, the whole world that he created based on the story in the campaign is just so rich and so detailed. You know, like, his shield is a button. You know, the various things in the game that you interact with all make some kind of contextual sense and are very obvious, and like the cat and the Heart of Glorm expansion with the glowworm enemy with the multiple arms, some of which are praying, some of which are outstretched. Just unbelievable. And he just kind of continues that with things like some of his small box games designs like Hemlock or Omen, or now Solstice from Grant Rodiak, a Dune-inspired world with, you know, a little bit of the future and a little bit of the past all entwined together. I love John's work. It's what first drew me to Summoner Wars, above and beyond anything else. I wasn't looking for any kind of tactical skirmish game. I'm not a big fan of minis games, but when I saw that I got to play with John's artwork on the table the whole time, and stare at that, and that those were my units, and that was what I was going to be interacting with, I couldn't pass it up. It helps that the game is really good too, but John's artwork is what really caught my eye and sold me on it. The darkness and the light, the shading and half-lit imagery that he uses, just something about it really speaks to me in a deep place. And so I really love John's artwork. Next, continuing to go out of order, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so this will be 6. 6 is Fernanda Suarez, and she did Dead of Winter. She also did Century Spice Road, which I guess I forgot to grab. She did Ashes, which has some amazing character illustration. What I like about Fernanda's work is that she captures humans vulnerably. Like, whereas Beth makes me feel the soul of a human being, Fernanda's work really captures the, like, all of the aspects of being human. The dirt, the grit. I mean, this is a zombie survival horror game, but, like, even in Century Spice Road, like, there's all of these fine silk garments and guilt and amazing imagery, but there's still, like, dust on their cloaks. And, you know, they're still living in the world. Like, I really feel like Fernanda's artwork captures the people in the world. And the fact that there's so many different and diverse people inside of Dead of Winter showcases just how skilled she is, how much she's worked to hone her craft to make a world that feels coherent and all fits together. It helps that she's absolutely amazing at it, and what she's done in Ashes is downright unbelievable. The whole art direction for that game is fantastic, and her artwork as the centerpiece popping off of the white backgrounds is so eye-catching and so gorgeous that you can't help but stop and look at it. Even if you don't play the game, it's amazing. So that's Fernanda. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we are on 8. So 8 is Fabio Fontes. So Fabio Fontes has 2 fairly distinct styles, I would say. And one is this more comic book-esque type style that you can see here on the cover of Battle for Baturnia. And the other is the more pixel art style in Pixel Tactics. You may also know him for all of his amazing tongue-in-cheek artwork on Millennium Blades, which had to be an absolute blast with all of the inside jokes and references and gags and everything that he got to illustrate over time. It's amazing how quick he's able to produce work. Like, if you've seen how many cards are in Millennium Blades and its expansion, if you've seen how many expansions are in the Pixel Tactics universe, all of the alternate ability cards for the BattleCon characters, Battle for Baturnia, and multiple other games, level 99 and otherwise. It's unbelievable how productive he is. I'm a big fan of pixel art, especially like SNES era 16-bit pixel art. He does it better than anybody on the market, as far as I'm concerned. He can capture subtle nuances of characters in tiny little sprites that would just get lost in a lot of other artists' work. His comic book-esque artwork with the action. There's always dynamic action in his pieces. He's very good at using color, particularly like neons or very bright colors to emphasize things. Millennium Blades is just a treat for the eyes. Like, even if you don't get the references, flipping through all of the different universes that exist inside of Millennium Blades is its own treat. It's an amazingly fun experience to just go through everything and figure out what everything is. It's I don't know. I love his artwork. I would love to have him illustrate something. There's a whimsical nature to it, much like Quan Chai. Fabio's stuff isn't creepy cute like Quan Chai's is. Fabio's is much more grounded in what I grew up with, video games and comic books and that sort of illustration, and so it feels very comfortable to me, like I'm looking at media that I'm familiar with or that was made specifically for me, and so that's why he's on my list. So, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're at 8. And I believe we're at 8. Either way, I've got 10 on the list. We'll get 10. So 8 is Julie Okahara. Now, Julie Okahara has one board game entry on Board Game Geek to her credit, and that's Project Dreamscape here. And Project Dreamscape, the first time I saw it, I'd never seen anything quite like it. The card backs with their little militant marching sheep, and the dreamlike artwork with the pastels and the cutouts that she uses. She actually uses cutouts and multiple levels of imagery to create her artwork. Nothing says dreams quite like this, like sleepy pastels and the overall feeling of everything being somewhat impressionistic and not so rigidly defined. Like, it's not trying to be realistic artwork, it's trying to evoke feelings or thoughts or attitudes, and I love it. I've never seen another game that looks like this one, and while it would be a shame to kind of ruin that, I would love to have a game that I design with this kind of artwork on it. I think that would be a fantastic addition to the board gaming world to see more of her artwork in it, which is why I included her. I just realized I've forgotten a game, so I am going to have to try to sneak it here. Just a second, guys. I apologize. All this prep I'm not used to doing. Luckily, it's or it should be, a very easy game for me to find. Where did I shelve it now? Oh, again, I apologize because I should have had all of this stuff ready, and I did not. Aha! Here it is. So, number 9 on my list is Kyle Farron from Vast. I removed the monochromatic sleeve, which still the line work on this is amazing. Boy, that box is shiny. Vast the Crystal Caverns. He's done all sorts of other stuff as well, I believe mostly in the role-playing universe, as his name on Twitter is D20 plus modifier. But Vast captured my imagination both because it was an asymmetrical game, which there aren't a lot of those, especially not with 4 or even 5 different roles as this one ended up being. But his characters have so much character. His characters are very distinct and interesting, and if I was going to design an asymmetrical game, having a dragon that looks like that, goblins that look like that, and a knight that looks like that all obviously inhabit the same universe but don't share any of the same lines, like they don't look the same, they're very, very distinct, is just amazing. And then his illustration artwork for the thief there and everything, there's just so much character in all of his drawings. Like, the knight has all sorts of equipment dangling all over, the goblins look somewhat frenzied and manic and all over the place, the dragon is fearsome, or sleeping, as the case may be. Either way, it's a game that looks, again, like nothing else, other than maybe the next Vast. I'm in love with the skeleton crew that he's creating there, and I love watching his process, going from the line drawings to the more colored illustrations over time. I've just loved watching this game grow, and it's so fantastic that I would love to have a game of mine illustrated by him. Number 10, we finally made it to the end, is Alan Penacall. And Alan is somebody who has not done any board games yet, but I have a piece of his artwork that I acquired at Origins. He's somebody who's looking to get into board games, and I think he's going to find a lot of success in the board game arena. But his designs are very geometric. They use a lot of, even in this one, a lot of eye-popping color and more geometric, like, layering, I guess is the best way to put it. His spaceships and aliens and sci-fi artwork is unbelievable in scope. It's like he built it all out of a bunch of tiny little geometric lights layered on top of each other and spread them out all over the page, exactly where they needed to go to create what it is he was looking for. Like, it's not a traditional painterly style. It's not 100% realistic. It's very impressionistic. It's very loose in its lines, but it's also very obvious what it is that he's created out of all of those lines. And I think that a game fully illustrated by him, he has much more dynamic work than just this, but this is the one that really spoke to me, the lonely astronaut floating out in space. Really fits a lot of different board game ideas that I can imagine or that I could see in the space. I think it would look just fine alongside all of the other artists that I've showcased today as far as artwork goes, and it wouldn't look even remotely out of place or wrong. I hope that he has great success getting into this arena, because I think it would be fantastic, and I would be honored to have some of his artwork on one of my designs. And I said there would be 10, but I want to include one honorable mention, and this honorable mention is a little bit different. All of the other artists here are people that I would kill to have illustrate my games. I would love to see their artwork adorning my games. This last one is somebody who, if I could have them design a product, this is who I would pick. And that is Anthony Amato from Cardboard Fortress. Resistor is one of theirs. Laser Riders, also one of theirs. There's so much attention to making every part of the game, from the box to the trays to the components to the cards, all be part of the experience of the game, that I've never seen anything like it. Like Laser Riders, if you haven't seen it, looks like one of those old VHS tape uh, cases for like a TV series from the old days, and each player pulls out their own smaller box that includes all of their components, and all of the components have different textures and colors and are richly illustrated. Even Resistor, a game that's this small, like the attention to detail of how the box can be flipped, the insert here being double-sided so you can show off either deep red or blue through the hole in the front. Or more importantly, when you play the game, can insert the cards into the box so that they stand up facing the player who plays them, so that when you draw them, you can't see what's on the other side unless there's a camera recording it like there is now. You know, both sides of the cards are used, but you only get to use the half that you can see. And this was such a clever idea for how to make that happen, and integrating it directly into the box so that it stands up. And all of the pieces of artwork around the sides, from the lettering to the dual nature of the box being flippable either direction, letting you choose whether you want red or blue, you know, hiding their logo in there along with the little pixel art avatars of the supercomputers from the game. Just nobody produces products like this, and Anthony, I know, has a huge hand in that. The companies that he's worked for or with on these projects do very well to listen to his feedback, because he's got a real savvy mind for producing a game that is from top to bottom a product, where every piece adds to the experience. And I would love to work with him at some point on one of my designs. But that's it, guys. This is a really long video. I apologize for not having Vast on hand and having to go get it. But thank you if you watched all of this, and to all the artists that I mentioned, thank you so much for your contributions to the gaming community. Your work really enriches our world as people who play games, and as someone who's designing games, it really gives me hope and fires my imagination to think that someday one of you may have some of your artwork adorning a box that also shares my name. I'm humbled at that possibility, and thank you all very much for your contributions. Anyway, Bearded Rogue signing out.